Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Palace Bad Mason. Now, you join me outside Selhurst Park for a very important game. I would call it El Sackicco between Crystal Palace and Chelsea. I'm not only here because it's a very important game, though. I have a uni mate who is a, let's say, half Chelsea fan, and you might recognise him. It's Redford from the fans' perspective. He has 13,000 subscribers, a lot more successful than me. But yeah, we've just hit 10k followers on TikTok as well. I want to thank everybody for the support on that. It's absolutely amazing. So, how you doing, Redford, mate? All good?
Well, I'm doing quite well, thank you. Obviously, first appearance properly on the channel. First time I've been to Crystal Palace as well. Hoping to come to the game tomorrow if my ticket actually does come. But Mason, you are never confident. You do get called many things about being a Crystal Palace fan. But how are you feeling about tomorrow's game?
Well, I mean, I get called ungrateful, but I think given the situation at Palace, it's not going very well for us at the moment. We currently sit 15th in the Premier League table, 5 points clear of the relegation zone, with, for the first time I think I've ever seen as a Palace fan, with fans turning against the board and the manager. How we've not sacked Roy Hodgson yet is just absolutely unbelievable. And I think you can say the same for Poch, can't you, really?
Well, it's pretty predictable, that, to us. I think it's one win the last seven Premier League away games, so I don't see why Crystal Palace aren't licking their lips at this. It's a Pochettino side who doesn't really show any heart. Yes, they ripped Aston Villa apart, but it was because half of them were in the pub at half time. And yeah, you've seen Villa were unpredictable. Chelsea, they've got some star players, but I like to say it's 11 individuals. I don't know if you think the same about Palace, but it seems like we've got way too much quality, but they don't want to work together.
Yeah. I mean, the reason why we're not licking our lips at this is because we've got no Eze, Elise, or Gahey. So, that is the reason why, 100%. I mean, you got Chris Richards playing at centre back, still got Henderson in goal, probably, because Roy's not going to change nothing. Matthias Franca, I'm not being funny. I've just seen for the first time. So, you know the fan zone, right? Because I know a lot of Palace fans are obviously subscribers. Matthias Franca's in the middle of all those players. And we've seen him for about an hour on a Premier League pitch. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
We've
But
seen them against the under 21s though.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's all we've seen him, mate. Honestly, it is dreadful right now. Again, I mean, you lot beat us in December, end of December. I was working at that game, unfortunately, and I got, well, not so much the privilege of watching it. And you lot just carved us to shreds. It was just one bit of Elise brilliance that got us the goal in that game. And you could argue that's been the case for the majority of this season. We've just been relying on Elise and Eze brilliance, and it's not good enough. And do I think Roy's going to get the most out of these players? No. Are we too good to go down? No. I don't think we are. I mean, only got to look at Leicester last season. They delayed the sacking of Brendan Rodgers, brought in Dean Smith, who was about as useful as a chocolate teapot, and they got relegated. Same thing as what we're probably going to do here. Like, but anything's better than this manager. Honestly, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Anyway, let's move on because I think we're just going to be going round in circles. To be honest, um, did you know, Redford? Because I saw a stat the other day that if you beat us tomorrow night and then we stay up and then you beat us again in the first game, in terms of head to head, Palace and Chelsea. Chelsea have the best record head to head against any other team than any other two teams compared in the 92, if that makes sense. I know it's a bit much to get your head around. Basically, the easiest game for any team in the 92 is Chelsea taking on Crystal Palace. We've not beaten Chelsea since October 2017. To give you context, I was in year 8 and I was 12 years old. I'm now able to drink and drive. Not drink and drive together, but you know what I mean. So
All there for a bit of fun, isn't it?
it's not fun, but
Yeah.
it's that's how bad it is. So with that in mind, I know it's not great at Chelsea at the moment, but where do you see yourselves in this game? Do you see us? Do you see yourselves winning this game?
Okay, so the performance that we played against Palace last time, yes, he did say we ripped them to shreds, but it wasn't the greatest performance, and Elise did pull strings a little bit. But yeah, we have Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer could not make a mermaid, mate. So I'm pretty sure he's the only player that can go show talent. And Noni Madueke, if he starts, I think he should play well. The only player I was worried about for Palace was Mark Gehi or Mike Gehi, however you say it, because I do think he deserves to be a Chelsea number one. But I didn't realise you had all three players out, to be honest, mate.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's that bad. It's that bad.
bad. You never know. Maybe Hughes will score a hat trick against us. So some of the weirdest things have happened before. And well, then again, he says that we've got the best record against them. We also didn't lose to Wolves. I think 17 home games. Well, yeah, they they had different ideas. And something I said in my last video, which actually wasn't able to be said because it went mute. Was I said that we speak all this thing about history and about how Chelsea have done much, but at the minute this new Chelsea side are writing their own history. So I think, like you say about Palace, anything can happen in this game. But I think what we both know is it's not going to be the highest quality of football.
Yeah. One more question before we move on to the lineups, because I'm worried about the length of this video. Do you think that Palace fans are overreacting at the situation? Because I've been told so many times that I'm ungrateful. Um, we should be grateful that we're 15th in the league because we're Crystal Palace. But we've been a team in the Premier League for 10 years, nearly 11 years. And we've just seen the same old crap, to be fair. The transfer windows have been very, very boring. No action at all. I know that contradicts this window because we've been the biggest spenders, but I think it's just so reactive. You get a 5-0 defeat to Arsenal and then a couple of banners, and then he spends 30 million quid on 20 of it on the 19-year-old that I still don't think Roy Hodgson would play. I genuinely think he would start Jeffrey Schlupp over him, or Will Hughes, or anybody else for that matter.
Can
So
he actually play this game?
who?
The youngster.
Adam Wharton.
Yeah.
He played that 70 minutes against Brighton.
Oh, okay.
He came on for the injured Mark Gahey when he went off injured. So, do you think Palace fans are overreacting?
I'll let you hold the mic because I think it's more better. But
Depending on what you say, I'll smash you in with it, mate.
I will say no because I hate to mention the horrible word, but Brighton they have come up from the Championship and they've overtaken you. They've spent in the right areas, they've managed the right way, and they've gone for a star which isn't bringing back people from 10 years ago, Nathaniel Klein,
Yeah.
or Roy Hodgson. And I feel like, yeah, the style needs to change. I don't particularly feel bad for a few individuals because I understand maybe they can't do much, but I would say with clubs like the mighty Cheltenham Town, come on you Robins, at least we have something to fight for in the lower divisions. And if I was a Palace fan, as much as you don't want to leave the Premier League, I would like to see one relegation and then a very nice, fun Championship season.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just don't. I think if we went down, I just don't think we'd come back up for a while. I think we're one of
Not with that
those.
squad.
No,
No.
no, 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 no. Because the thing is, as well, is that even though our squad's not great, I can see a lot of them leaving if we went down. Because a lot of them think that they're not championship quality, but we see out on the pitch that they are. Anyway, without further ado, let's move on to our
I've
lineups.
got to say one more thing for that lineup though.
Go
you
on.
say that Southampton lost 8 of their starting 11. They brought in Russell Martin, who was not really much at Swansea. I do love him though, and they are now 32 games unbeaten.
Yeah, but do I trust Steve Parish to bring in the right people? Absolutely not. I don't have any trust in him. I've said it for a long time, and now I think fans are starting to wake up. So let's move on. Anyway, let's move on to the lineups because this has turned into a podcast about Steve Parish. Right, so moving on to the lineups. Now, I think the difference between Crystal Palace and Chelsea is that Palace have a very, very, very threadbare squad, but Chelsea have so many players to choose from because they spent £1 billion. So I'm going to start with Redford as he is the guest, and he has so many players to choose from. I think my lineup's going to be pretty easy, but the difference between what I want and what Roy's going to play, probably, the difference is quite big. So I'll let Redford start with your lineup, mate.
All right, I'll try and get through as quickly because I don't want to waste all your time. But yeah, some of the Chelsea players do make me pacing like a cat on a hot tin roof. So I would like Alfie Gilchrist to start just because I feel like he's one of Chelsea's best players.
Who?
He's an 18-year-old and he's a skinhead. And
Did he play for Cheltenham?
no, he didn't actually. He comes on for the final 10 minutes of all of Chelsea's games and he just runs at people and starts shouting. And it's quite fun. But no, he won't start, so I'm not going to say that. In goal, I think Petrovic has got to start because Sanchez, he's got an injury and I don't think Petrovic deserves to be dropped, to be honest. Yeah, he conceded eight goals in a week, but you know, every keeper does that. Back four, Malo Gusto, one of the best right backs in the league at the minute. Reece James, he's never going to be fit. I've kind of gone down to that.
Yeah.
Centre backs, I don't really like any of them, to be honest.
Thiago Silva?
I like Thiago Silva, but after what his wife said, I don't think he deserves to start for a week.
His wife said, "Do you want to explain that to the camera?"
Yeah, he essentially said on Twitter, his wife just said Chelsea is terrible whenever Silva doesn't start.
Oh, is that the person who said time for a change with Poch?
Yeah, time for a
That,
change.
right.
Yeah, as much as I love his wife, I don't think you can say that on Twitter.
Oh God, you can't say that on the show.
And anyway, I think Badia Shield deserves to start because he played really well against Villa, and I probably wouldn't make a change of the rest of the back four, apart from Chilwell. I don't particularly like Chilwell. If Levi Colwill can be back, I'd play him on the left. But I think Dizazi deserves to keep a spot at centre back because, like I said, no one else really deserves to take their place. The midfield three, I don't think they can change as well. I think it's got to be midfield three. Caicedo and Enzo was their best performance of the season against Villa. That free kick from Enzo, if you haven't watched it already, I've watched it about a million times. And the best midfielder in the world.
He's gonna really wind me up.
He deserves a Ballon d'Or contention. He actually played for a little club called Palace before. His name's Conor Gallagher. What a player, by the way.
They played for West Brom as well. I think they're smaller.
And Charlton. And I think Swansea as well. It's not like I follow his career or anything.
Yeah.
But what a player. And I do believe that he's going to rip Palace apart because whenever Palace are on the calendar, he just plays insanely well. Now we've got a front three left. I would like to see Jackson on the left because I do believe he's underrated in a front three. He cannot shoot for the life of him, so I wouldn't put him up in a strike position. But left wing, I feel like he makes the runs. It's a bit like a Timo Werner sort of role. Cole Palmer down the middle because I feel like him and Conor Gallagher play really well together, and then Noni Madueke on the right. One final thing before I do move over to you: if Sterling touches grass, I'm turning the TV off.
Right. Well, you'll be here, so I don't know whether you'll be turning the TV off or walking out the ground. Yeah. Palace lineup. Look, like I said, we've got a very, very threadbare squad, or should I say, in Roy's terms, very, very threadbare squad. But no, but he won't admit anything in the press, and that is one thing I will say before I get onto the lineup. Right, it's these press conferences from Roy. They've got to stop. Just stop it. Stop questioning him, because what he says really winds me up. Apparently, the Elise thing was down to bad luck, not mismanagement. And he's saying that apparently him and Steve Parish haven't spoken once about his future, which is just baffling to me. Apparently, when journos are saying that a change is needed immediately, yeah, I don't get it. But anyway, in goal, I want Johnston in goal. Get Henderson out of goal. Please get him out of goal. No, honestly, Redford, have you watched us this season since he's been in goal? He coming off his line, he is woeful, right?
But this is a man that did once say he was better than David De Gea.
What, 5 years ago? No, mate, honestly, I've put Johnston back in goal. Yeah, he did have a little bit of a wobbly time when we played Luton and Everton, and then he got dropped for Henderson after he got injured. But bring him back. Please bring him back in goal. I cannot for the life of me watch Henderson in goal again. Soon as a shot goes near him, I just panic because I cannot trust him in goal. 20 million quid, by the way. Back four, you've got to have Daniel Munoz in there, the new Genk right back. I just think that against Brighton, it wasn't the best of his performances, but it wasn't anyone's best performances in that game. We were terrible, but I think he deserves another chance.
Did you have a centre back?
Anderson and Richards. We've got no Gahey. It's got to be Anderson and Richards. I swear to God, I'm going to say the same thing about when he said with Sterling. If James Tompkins walks on that pitch,
what a player!
He's about 40.
Yeah. 40
no, actually, he's young. He's young. He's like 33. In all seriousness, anyway, forget Tompkins. I don't want him on that pitch. And left back's got to be Mitchell. We've got no other left backs, so it's going to have to be Mitchell. Midfield, two holding midfielders we normally play. You've got to have Jefferson Lerma in there. Been one of, if not our best player this season, outside of Eze and Elise. Now, who do you start with him? Now, I'd like to see Adam Wharton start, the new Blackburn Rovers CDM, but I don't think Roy's going to play David Ozo because he's under the age of 27. So, I mean, he's like, what is he? You're 19, 20 years old. So, no, honestly, he's going to play. He's got to play Adam Wharton. If he starts Will Hughes there,
I'm seeing a bit of
it'll start with yeah, mate. Honestly, you don't get how bad it's been this year. You think Chelsea's bad? At least you've seen your club win something, mate. Honestly, it's yeah. So Wharton and Ozo holding midfielders. The three in the attacking sense, you've got. I think No Eze and Elise, it's tough.
I've got to quickly ask about it then. You did say that the Eze situation, I assume this is injury, was about bad luck.
No, it's Elise.
Oh, Elise, was that about bad injury being bad luck? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, surely he kind of has to overplay him because you said he's their best player.
but you're 3-0 down. 3-0 down against. Sorry about these scooters. But yeah, honestly, we're 3-0 down away at Brighton, right? He might be a good player, but he ain't changing the game.
Yeah, but surely you keep him on because you don't want to lose 5 now.
I'd welcome it if it got rid of Roy.
Okay.
But the trouble is that you've got Matthias Franca on that bench. You've got a Hamada on the bench. That's 30 million there. But yet we persist and persist with Elise when he's been warned by medical staff to not overuse him. And he's played every minute on the pitch since.
What price tag do you put on Elise if he was to go in the summer?
The thing is, I think if anything, it is working in our favour that he keeps getting injured because I don't think we had a new contract last year, but I don't think that matters much because I bet he was promised a lot by Steve Parish about next level. And but the fact we've not got there, we've gone backwards. I don't think Elise is going to want to stay, nor will Eze, Anderson, or Gahey for that matter. But price tag, I would have said 70, but his injuries, I'll go down to 55.
If you can get him for 55, that's a steal of a
55 million quid for Elise, I'd say. But anyway, let me finish my lineup. So I know what he's going to play. The front four is going to play Schlupp, Hughes, Ayew, Mateta. We all know he will. But I want it to be Franca, Ahamada, Ayew, and whether it's Mateta and Edouard, I don't care. They're both pretty much useless. I guess Mateta has got that little bit of pace about him. It does have that little odd run in the game, whereas Edouard just stands still, doesn't press. But then again, Edouard is a good finisher. If he does get the right pass, he does finish chances off. I don't know, but it's just so frustrating, mate. There's so many differences between. I can't believe we've got such a threadbare squad, but yet my ideal squad and Roy's ideal squad is so different.
Yeah.
That is what gets me the most. Anyway, to finish this off, let's do score predictions. I'll start with Redford on this one.
I wouldn't have been confident. I would have said there'd be very few goals this game. I don't think it's going to be a very talented game at all. But the performance against Villa did actually give me a lot. I can see the light in the future now. And I'm going to say Chelsea can get 2 goals. I think it's going to be 1 goal in each half and 1 goal later on as well. I personally think that with Palace's star players out of the game, it's going to be quite difficult. And I'm going to go with a 2-0 Chelsea win where we go 1-0 up in the early stages. Palace fight all the way back, possibly a missed penalty. And then at the very end of the game, Cole Palmer with a penalty to make it 2-0.
Missed penalty, Jesus! That's the only thing. That's what I don't want. I mean, if anything, that's the only thing we haven't seen this season in terms of disappointment. So I don't want that this season at any point. But score predictions, I was going to say the same thing. I think it's going to be the same sort of thing. I know you can't really compare Bournemouth and Chelsea, but when we played Bournemouth at home, I think it's going to be the same kind of thing. And I think going forward, we're going to have pretty much no clue what to do. Chelsea defensively, they're solid enough to keep a clean sheet against a very talentless Palace attack. And I think that Chelsea will win by 2-0 with a very late goal to seal the game off by Conor Gallagher. I'm going to say it because, yeah. So that brings the end to this preview. I know it's not the same length as the previews, but let's be honest, it is quite cold. I want to get in the warm.
Not every day we get to film here as well.
Not every day we get to film outside Selhurst Park. This is the first time I've ever done this. I'm hoping to do this more often. But yeah, thank you guys for the support on TikTok, as I said before. Go subscribe to the Fans Perspective. You're on 13k subs now.
13.5k on YouTube.
There's bound to be one person watching this video that has seen Redford before. But if you haven't, please go over to his channel. I'll put a link in the description for his channel. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you guys for the vlog that's going to be released probably on
Come on, you Robins!
That's why I said half Chelsea fan, because he does support Cheltenham Town as well. Very weird combo, but yeah, there you go. So yeah, bit of a weird ending to this video, but yeah, the vlog will come out on Tuesday, probably midday, because by the time the Chelsea's game's over and I've edited it, I'll release it at midnight. No, none of you lot will be awake. So yeah, cheers for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.